Metafiles, episode 22. I'm Zach Caffrey.
I'm Jason Ford.
And this is Metafiles, the podcast that talks to you. And this week...
Explosions.
We're talking about things that explode.
Mm-hmm.
Things that have exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Things that explode.
Exploding things.
Explosions. Explosion. That was a little explosion, but still counts.
They come in all shapes and sizes.
They do, and we're going to talk about it all hour long. And boy. And boy are we. Not like last week, where we didn't talk about the thing. We were having fun. This week, we're all business.
We're down to the bottom of the booms. Bottom of the bangs.
Love it.
Yeah.
Might even be a battle of the bangs.
Ooh.
Which explosions are best?
Mm.
Which are next best? And, I suppose, well, first, we know that Detroit is not a state. We do know that. We do know that.
Retroactive, yeah.
And I'm not even going to say we were kidding. It would be easy to do that. But no,
we're dead serious.
We were very serious in that moment because we were just lost in the love of naming states things. I believe it was me that first said that Detroit would be the gravy state.
Hey man, it's the Metafiles.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. We said it.
We said it.
We said it.
We succeed and or we fail.
Damn right.
And in that moment, we failed all of you by making you who trust us so much believe that Detroit, maybe it is a state, and maybe a few of you double check to make sure.
We're sorry to waste everybody's time. It's not a state.
Detroit is not a state. Detroit is a city that is located in the garbage state, which is Michigan. And not because the state is garbage, because it is just full of it.
Including Detroit.
Detroit. But it is not the gravy state. Somewhere else is that. And maybe we'll find out today. Maybe not.
Gravy state. Want to move there. Wow.
Yeah. Maybe it's New Jersey.
Hmm.
They like gravy there.
Oh, no, Italians.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? One day us.
Well, here's one. If you'd explode, if there's one state that you could explode, which one would it be?
And here we go. We're talking explosions and us, and I get to explode one state. Well, geez. I mean, can my answer be none of them?
No, you gotta pick one of them. It's like that movie Failsafe with Walter Matthau,
where somebody thinks they're safe, but they fail at being safe.
Yeah, in a big way. It's exactly what happens. And I'm not gonna do any spoilers. The movie came out, I don't know, 62 or some shit. So, but it's a good movie and people should watch it. So I don't want to spoil it. But
I mean, that don't help me forget the end of Moby Dick, but I guess I appreciate you. Although I guess since we do everything, all our successes and failures are mutual, I guess I spoiled Moby Dick for myself.
Yeah.
We spoiled it for me because we knew the ending and we didn't.
Yeah, so you fucked up.
Yeah. Okay. Do I need to apologize to the audience?
We'll get all bogged down if we start doing that every fucking time. We gotta, Right. So instead, I will just answer that. I will pull up the state that has the fewest people in it, which is one of those little ones up New England way. Now.
Sure. little teeny tiny Rhode Island or something.
Okay.
I'd blow up Rhode Island. Who's gonna know?
Yeah. I'd blow up the state with the least Waffle Houses. Which, unfortunately, doesn't narrow it down terribly a whole lot, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're just kind of left with the Pacific Northwest
it'd be
there.
Canada. I'd blow up Canada. Ontario, I guess, if you want to go states. I
I
didn't say it had to be a U.S. state. Well, I guess Ontario is a province.
Yeah. Jay, I feel
Uh,
like we just had to go through the whole Detroit debacle.
Oh,
Now people are going to think that we think Ontario is a state.
well, I'm not going to apologize. We're not going to apologize. You know what? I'd go for the gusto and blow up Texas just to send a message.
There's kind of a feeling that I have where it's like Texas sort of wants it to be them. Don't you think?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
it's like, we're tough as hell. We're
Blow us
Texas.
up, we don't
Blow
give
us
a
up.
shit.
We like it.
Yeah.
Get us away from the rest of you folks being blown up.
We want to succeed. Just we'll do it via explosion. Sure. Yeah. Well, just just a little survey.
Sure, yeah.
Now we know. Smallest state, biggest state.
Yeah. Neither of us gonna waste the bomb on those flyovers.
They might as well have exploded years ago.
Yeah. When we blow up the state, is there left a calling card of some kind that people will know the Metaphiles did this and we did it? Either if it's Texas, we did it. If it's Rhode Island, we did it.
Like
All
a
of our
certain-
successes and failures are mutual.
Certain type of radiation, perhaps. There's a lot of meta radiation here.
Meta radiation. I like that.
Get real sick.
Yeah.
Like, dude, sick.
Or it would turn a guy into a guy who knows a lot about the Hulk, but he doesn't turn into the Hulk. He just knows a lot about the Hulk.
Sure.
Because it's meta. It's not gamma radiation. It's meta radiation. So he doesn't become the Hulk. He just all of a sudden knows a lot about it.
I'll stop you when you stop making sense.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna keep talking about the Hulk for as long as possible.
Well, this is our mascot. This little fella. He's having tax issues. His
And
name's
that's-
Kyle.
His name's Kyle. His name is Kyle Tax Issues.
Yeah.
And his arms are folded, but he is smiling. So
He's maybe a little withdrawn but optimistic about his tax issues.
yeah, because the fact that he has tax issues to begin with reminds him, I buy so many things.
Yeah.
My assets, my liquid assets.
My suits and my haircuts.
Yes, and my lower half of my body that is a rectangle.
If we were a good podcast, it would be loaded with explosives right now, and we'd be able to.
Well, at any given moment, we'll just do it in post.
Oh yeah.
And then we will take him off the table.
Cut out the frames.
Yeah.
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 That's gonna be great.
Yeah, there will be an explosion in this episode.
I gonna say when.
Not going to say when. Speaking of, because it is explosions and us,
Mm-hmm.
I have never exploded. You neither, because I can see that you haven't.
Yeah.
And
Sitting here perfectly unexploded.
Yeah. And have people ever spontaneous human combustion?
Ooh.
What do you think?
I think that's just people caught on fire and didn't move once they caught on fire for whatever fucking reason.
They were being a real Texas about it.
Yeah, they're like, I like being on fire. I'm not getting up. This is my favorite recliner. I don't care if it's on fire. That's what I think about spontaneous
I'm going down with my lazy boy.
Yeah. Does it recline any further?
Does it recline 6 feet down?
Whoa. Woo, lazy boy, more like mortal boy.
Mortal boy. Dun, 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 dun. I looked up, is spontaneous human combustion real? Assuming the answer was no, but have to do the facts.
Just the facts.
Yeah. And
Okay.
a Britannica.com gave the answer almost certainly not. But weren't willing to completely lay the hammer down.
Almost certainly not? That doesn't sound like certainly not to me.
It does not at all.
Damn sight from certainly not.
Is the Metaphiles a bad podcast? Almost certainly not.
That's a glowing review.
So yeah, almost certainly not. That anybody ever just was sitting there and then just went.
Well, it's certainly never happened during a podcast.
That's right. Up to and including so far this episode of this podcast.
Oh no, it's like rubbing sticks together.
Oh, yeah. Just your fingernail explodes.
Spontaneous.
Yeah,
human.
that would count.
Yeah.
Fingernails are human.
Sure.
No other animal has them.
No, not true.
Almost certainly not.
As a semiophile, if you will.
I count those as the same thing.
It's keratin. That's what they're made out of. A rhinoceros's horn is made out of keratin.
I like
So technically they have fingernails.
I like his prop comedy, Keratin.
I want to explode that joke. I want you to combust right now.
Oh, what a terrible one to go out on. If I was gonna spontaneously combust on a joke, I'd want it to be a Rust Bowl worthy. Not.
There's an idea. We could have packed the Rust Bowl full of like nitroglycerin, so if I ding it, it explodes. I don't want to explode. Don't explode me.
Don't make me part of your bullshit. I'm structurally integral to this home.
I like that joke, but I'm packed full of nitroglycerin, so don't ding me, please.
Nitroglycerin is something that explodes at the slightest jostling. Famously, the film Sorcerer.
I was just about to say, I hate to go back to the cinema well.
We're going to be doing it a lot.
Yeah, there's lots of explosions in lots of movies. But the one that's the best one about explosions is definitely Sorcerer.
Yeah.
Featuring nitroglycerin, the main character.
Yeah, it really is a character.
Yeah.
Like, people will sometimes say, like, New
villain.
York City was really a character in that film. In this film, nitroglycerin is kind of the main character.
Yeah.
And for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's about some criminals living in a criminal community have to drive a truck full of nitroglycerin across many
miles.
not good bridges and things.
Yeah.
And it's very intense.
Some treacherous travel. Hell of a movie.
Yes, hell of a movie, I agree. And we are going to be talking a lot about movies because explosions in us, most of the explosions that I've seen are in movies.
Sure.
And short of the occasional firecracker, I don't know that I've ever exploded anything myself.
You ever throw a lighter into a fire? That's fun. It's a pretty big explosion, relatively.
I have not.
Equivalent to a pretty damn big firework, I'd say.
Huh. And I was going to say then you don't have a lighter, but
I recommend it.
But you have a fire. Which
You don't
is
have a fire.
God's lighter.
True. Yeah. One time my friend made one of those bombs. It's like a water bottle, and you mix chemicals in it.
Oh, you drop Mentos in it.
No. It's not an explosion. That's just a hefty carpet cleaning bill. Stanley Steamer bill, you know what I'm saying? No, it's like you put chemicals into a water bottle, and then if you throw it, when it lands, it's a pretty fucking big explosion.
Was this your childhood friend Tyler Durden? What are you talking about?
No, it's...
You were making
My friend
2-liter
was.
pipe bombs when you were a kid?
No, it was just like a water bottle. And it was, yeah.
What's in it? Maybe you shouldn't even say. We'll get arrested.
I don't remember. Oh, I mean, I don't think it was that rare of a thing, at least at that time.
In Florida, everybody was just setting off
It's Florida.
water bottle Molotov cocktails all the time.
It's Florida. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not as big of an explosion as you were thinking, really. But pretty damn big.
So you have been out there making things really explode a lot.
Not a lot.
Or hanging out with people who did.
Yeah. Not a lot, though.
That wasn't your job in the crew. You weren't demolitions.
My job was to hang back in the cut and put out the vibes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We need to get the getaway driver. We need demolitions. We need the face. We need the guy who's just kind of chill.
None of it's gonna work without the vibes.
Yeah.
It's gonna bring it all together.
Yeah. And so then we have 5 minutes in the safe before the cops are gonna arrive. We gotta be in and out in 5 minutes, and then Jay's gonna have a sweet playlist ready.
Yeah. All right. Getaway driver, getaway playlist player. It's gonna be Jay. Everybody synchronizes their watches like in the Meg Heist movie. I'm like, I don't need to. I'm just gonna vibe.
I'm synchronizing by using Pink Floyd's Time.
Yeah.
Perfectly synchronized to Wizard of Oz. Did you ever do that? You ever get so high and watch that and listen to that, and it's like...
You talking like the album paired with the movie?
Yeah.
No.
Well, never too late.
I guess so.
It's gonna explode something.
What are some
in
other
your mind?
What are some other movies that should be paired with certain albums? You know, I'm thinking maybe Follow the Leader by Korn paired with, I don't know, maybe
The Goonies.
Goonies a little bit too playful, different vibes. I think a Korn album would pair well with Deep Blue Sea with the Sharks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Same time frame, same era.
Sure. I would like to try Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Starfish in the Hot Dog Colored Water synced up to Gone with the Wind.
The album plays about 4 or 5 times.
Sure. Well, hey, that's how many times I want to listen to it. Definitely. Not true.
Frankly, dear, I don't give me something to brag.
I would have blown the Rust Bowl up on that one. That would have been my nitro hit. The shrapnel from the Rust Bowl. Yikes.
Well, so, I mean, what's your experience with explosions? You got anything? You got...
Throwing those little party popper things.
Oh, those are dope.
That's a little teeny explosion.
Those are a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm surprised that those aren't a thing that kind of like people just bring into more situations. I wanted to avoid using...
Year-round.
Yeah. I wanted to avoid using the word terrorize each other with, because I don't think we should be talking about terrorizing on an explosions episode.
Yeah.
But
also, that kind of reminded me of another explosion experience. We made a sparkler bomb.
oh,
So you get like 10 packs of sparklers and tie them all together. And it's like this wide. And then you put one in the middle and pull it up and light it. And when it gets down to the bottom, you got to put it like in the middle of the street with nothing around it, because it's insanely huge. Like, it's not so much an explosion, it's just like the biggest...
They don't shoot out. They just all go off.
They just all go off.
That sounds very cool.
Oh, it's dope. I'm sure it's on YouTube videos of it. Sparkler bomb.
Okay, you just keep talking. I'm going to watch one.
It's just like... It goes like this. Because it's sparkling down.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes... It's so bright.
Yeah.
It's really dope.
It seems like I would have to wear sunglasses during it.
No. You just stare right into that shit.
Okay. One of us uses contact lenses and the other one doesn't.
That's true.
So you were doing a lot of pyrotechnics. You keep downplaying it, but you really were.
Florida. Again, Florida.
No, I don't think I ever blew anything up other than
the scene.
Yeah, every day with my new Arizona Jean Company buckle sandals, blowing up that scene.
Hell yeah! What's the last thing you'd want to explode?
Me.
Yeah, you're right. Shit.
But second to that, since that will almost certainly not happen, my laptop would be a huge pain because it's what we use to do this.
I mean, you could have said everybody in the world. I don't want everybody in the world to explode. Instead, you just said me. So that's like.
Oh, I mean, I would choose me last. I'll hang out alone. There's plenty of comic books that probably will make it through that. Keep me busy for a long time.
Everybody exploded.
Everybody except the X-Men.
I'm like, thank God I exploded.
But then I would be wondering, like, I would have to try and solve why everybody did it and not me. And there would be a part of me that would feel like, did everybody explode and they're all hanging out on, like, the post-explode planet? Making fun of me?
Look at that. Yeah. Probably, man. Well, I'm glad we all exploded. Can you... Wait. Oh, my God. Zach's still back there. He didn't explode at all.
That X-Men guy, he's not here.
X-Men. Yeah. A dark fate. Dark fate.
It's that time.
What time? Oh, you mean... Leia Players? Welcome to Leia Players. Part of the podcast where I pitch a podcast is better than this podcast. In all likelihood.
You said that. So nice that time.
Part of the podcast is better than this podcast.
Well, diminishing returns.
How I said it exploded before I could repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, I'll tell you right now, is a lot of shit just explodes in my brain before I can even damp the wick.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, having a podcast where they just spend one entire episode recreating a country song.
Oh.
So, there's a tear in my beer. Maybe they go to the therapy session with beers and let the,
Oh.
tear. I got friends in low places. Maybe they take diving lessons and make some new friends down there underneath the waves.
Yeah. So I thought you meant they recreate it like we get to watch people who didn't originally make the song be like, okay, here's the beat, here's the thing. But you're saying
they live it.
They make it a reality.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yes, I mean, it could work well with all kinds of country songs.
So, like, I could legally get my name changed to Darlin, and then legally get my name changed back from being Darlin so that I would be, you don't have to call me Darlin.
That's a great
It's
episode.
not legally my name anymore.
And the episode just follows you going through the legal process and actually living the moment where somebody's like calls you Darlin and you're like,
you don't
actually,
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to. Part of the podcast would have to be me while my name is Darlin, going around introducing myself as that to a lot of people.
Yeah. Make sure everybody knows.
Yeah.
And a week later you change it back.
Yeah.
Maybe you get pulled over and the cop is like, all right, Darlin. And you're like, you don't have to call me Darlin. That could be in the podcast.
I got the paperwork right here.
Devil went down to Georgia. Maybe interview some local Satanists and be like, do you want to take a trip to Georgia with me?
Have a fiddle contest.
Yeah.
Where you get to play electric guitar.
Sure. There you go.
I like this one.
I think it has a lot of potential.
Yeah. A lot of country songs out there.
Mm-hmm. Pair of jeans on a Friday night, cold beer that fits just right.
I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. We don't want to do that one. It'd be like a true crime episode.
That'd have to be the final episode. Really commit to the podcast. Anyways, it'd be called Howdy Podner. Howdy Podner.
I was taking a sip as you said, and the name would be, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta do this quick." It's gonna be a spit take. Howdy Podner.
We need a spit take on the explosion episode.
Oh, a spit take is like an explosion.
Damn.
Well.
Anyways.
You just have to say something else that's that funny. Howdy Podner.
Give it a couple episodes, shit. Yeah. So, that's the idea. You know, think about it. Think about it.
Great. We'll be right. We are back. Metaphiles. Explosions.
Kaboom.
Pow. Bam. Bang.
Okay, that's enough of that. Comic book stuff.
Pop. Kapow. Ziff. Biff.
Segment 2.
Snicked.
Explosions and
Bam.
the world. Just had to take over the intro here.
Zacked.
For my still unspontaneously combusted co-host. For better or worse.
We're here on segment 2. We're talking explosions and the world.
We're on segment 2 now? Can we be on segment 2? Is that all right with you?
It's fine with me. Snacked. And we can't talk about the history of explosions because guess what? An explosion was the first thing that probably ever happened ever. So there you go. That's the history of explosions. It is 0.
We can't. That's great. Yeah, the history of explosions.
It's everything since.
Yeah. It's technically like not history. It's prehistory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But we can.
that's blowing my mind.
But let's get into types of explosions.
Ooh, okay.
There are, according to the internet, 4 types of explosion. There is astronomical, such
Sure.
as the one we just hit on, and
BB.
also the old BB, the King BB. But also when a sun goes supernova, that is counted as an explosion because the chemical reactions and pressures and things. So space has explosions.
Explosions in outer spanks?
In outer space. Yeah. So you go from the little party popper all the way to a sun.
Inconceivably huge explosions. Yeah. Wow.
And is that for some being beyond our imaginations? Is that their version of a little party popper?
They're like, well, these are a lot of fun. We're like, oh. Oh.
There is chemical. These are most of your explosions, wherein 2 things react to each other and cause chemical change.
Like when somebody eats 100 Checkers fries.
Yes, I'm sure that you experienced an explosion of a sort after that.
Pretty standard, actually.
There you go. Chemical explosions takes us to gunpowder, the first man-made explosive. And guess what, Jay?
What?
It's been a little while. Been a little while. But gunpowder was invented where?
By the Chinese.
That's right. In the 9th century AD. Good old China. Egypt didn't get this one. China got this one. They invented gunpowder in the 9th century. And just a few short centuries later, in the 11th century AD, China also invented the first ever bomb. So they're all about things that go boom.
Well, if it took them that long to do a bomb, I guess they're doing guns for 2 centuries, I suppose?
Yeah. I mean, if I invented a gun, and nobody ever had done that before, I'd be playing around with that thing for a long, long time before I got tired of it.
Good 2 centuries worth of, time for that. Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah. Then there's a type of explosion which is listed as mechanical/vapor. And their example for this one was when you place a can of beans in a fire and the can explodes. But there is nothing inherently within the can or its structure that is explosive, but it is the circumstances which it is placed in which cause it to explode.
And it's called what? Mechanical?
Mechanical/vapor.
Interesting.
And then last but certainly not least, the nuclear.
So dope.
So awesome.
Well, there's the fact that, like, not even a century ago, we created an entirely new way to explode things bigger than ever.
A brand new category.
Ain't no party popper.
No. Almost like the new metal of explosions. It was like they were taking things that had happened before, but they were fusing them into a new style.
The remix, yeah.
And very capable of breaking things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and, let's just get it out there and squash, it right away. No jokes about the only 2 nuclear explosions used on people.
Certainly not.
Being bad taste.
Yes.
So.
And I also don't have any good ones.
Nobody has any good ones.
Yeah. Well. Sure, that's not true.
Well, let's get into it.
My one thing on nuclear, and I feel like you probably have a lot on nuclear, the nuclear bomb.
Sure.
But my one thing is I decided it's time for me to learn the difference between nuclear fission and nuclear fusion, which is I never knew.
I don't know either. Yeah.
Well, get ready to know slightly more.
Okay, give me a second. I'm ready to know slightly more about fission and fusion. I'm also ready to know slightly more about my taxes.
Yes.
It's all fucked.
There we go. I wondered if he would speak.
The same voice for everybody. But
lately,
it's all right.
Only lately. It's just because that one's so fun to do.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me. Best voice. What's next best?
I just hear it all
Cockney?
the time in my head. So. Cockney.
Based
My
on
taxes are a little fucked up. Scottish, I guess, or Irish. I don't know. Anyways.
Anyway. Fusion, nuclear fusion, Jen.
Okay.
And everyone, is when 2 light atomic nuclei are combined.
Of course.
Fission is when 2 heavy, unstable atomic nuclei are split into 2 lighter atomic nuclei.
Ooh.
So they are almost the exact opposite of each other.
That's quite bizarre.
Both release energy when this happens. Fission releases less. It releases less energy to take the conglomerate and split it than it does to force the 2 to conjoin.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And that is, we now know slightly more about that. And the nuclear bomb, I believe, works by using one or the other of both of those. I think it is fusion.
I think maybe the hydrogen bomb is fission. No, because the hydrogen bombs are way
water.
more.
That's
way
water.
More. Yeah, something like that. They're way more powerful than atomic.
Yeah, well, water is
Than nuclear.
so powerful.
So, here's a fun fact with nuclear.
Let's have a fun nuclear bomb fact.
Well, it was so cool during like the 50s and the 60s because they were experimenting with every single possible way they could use them. So they had jet fighters like the Delta Dart, which carried an unguided nuclear rocket that it could point at a group of enemy bombers, and it just eyeball it and shoot it out, and it would explode in the air and destroy all the bombers. That's pretty dope. One fighter could just launch a fucking nuclear missile, blow up a whole fucking air force. Pretty cool. On the other end of the spectrum, there was it was called a Davy Crockett. It was a shoulder-mounted nuclear warhead launcher.
No.
No shit. Yep.
What?
It was obviously a much smaller nuclear warhead, very small, but they had it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Does a small nuclear bomb create a tiny little mushroom cloud?
I guess so. Yeah, I think so. I think because of the certain way it disrupts the local particles, that it has a certain, even if it's small, has a certain shape to it. I don't know.
I can't believe that's real.
Oh yeah, look it up.
I mean, it makes sense logically because a nuke is just a missile. It is no different than any other missile from the outside. It's just what's going on inside of it that's different.
Yeah.
So it's not that different than a bazooka or something. But if I was playing a video game and all of a sudden I got a rocket, shoulder-mounted nuke launcher, I'd be like, okay, we've gone into silly time here.
Nope, happening in real life. IRL.
Yeah, IRL silly time.
My whole fucking life. Maybe that should be our new name for our podcast. IRL Silly Time.
I think it's the name of this episode.
Oh. Yeah.
Why'd they call it the Davy Crockett? He was king of the wild frontier.
Who knows, man?
Okay. They put a little raccoon hat on the missile.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Okay.
We can, of course, go into the etymology.
Of explosion?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So, explosion comes from the Latin explodo, which is a combination of ex, meaning out, and plaudo, which means clap, and was originally used to mean to hiss a bad actor off stage.
Ooh. Wow. Okay.
By 1538, this changed to drive out or off by clapping. By 1660, it became to drive out with violence and sudden noise. By 1790, it became go off with loud noise. And by 1882, it became burst with destructive force. So there really was... It's the best etymology I think we've ever gotten because you really got to see it develop there.
Wow.
So
it all came from this.
Yeah. Well, no,
Well, not even that. It all
came
from... Yeah. And then somebody clapped and they were like, oh, Explodo, no.
Yeah. So without shitty actors, we would never have had the word explosion.
They were the reason that her... Never mind.
Did we almost have a good
shitty
joke
actors
about it?
were the whole reason. Anyways.
So yeah, there you go. Good old etymology.
There's a lot packed into that etymology section.
Mm-hmm.
A lot packed into that. Real quick.
Sure.
There was this explosion in Siberia in like I think the 50s or the 40s. No, it was like the 20s or something. Nobody knows what caused it. But it was the biggest explosion I think that's ever happened. And there was no crater or anything. So people are baffled why it happened. And I can't remember the name of it. I think it was the Tonga explosion or something like that. To this day, nobody knows what the fuck exploded.
How do they know anything exploded at all?
Because trees were scorched and leveled and everything for, like, I don't know, 1,000 fucking miles or something crazy like that.
So trees fell over in the woods.
From a central point. You know?
But
It wasn't a strong wind. It was scorched and exploded outwards from a central explodey point. A central bad actor.
do we think a central bad
Maybe,
do we think that maybe a tree suffered from spontaneous arboreal combustion? Or sack?
there's just not enough energy present there for it to even to be fusion. It couldn't possibly happen.
Well,
There's just nothing.
one would say that about a can of beans as well.
But then you eat them, and the next day you're like, whoa. Ah.
Well, I like a good mystery.
Like how do you do your taxes?
The
Why
greatest mystery of all.
Yeah. Anyways,
It is a mystery without the internet.
TurboTax.
No, not anymore.
What?
They suck now.
They do?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Hey, they suck now.
Well, we don't.
They make you pay for it now.
Oh, sons of bitches.
Anyway.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't a great idea to introduce the topic of taxes to an episode.
Well, I mean, famously, our 58th president, Benjamin Franklin, said, there's only two things that are certain in life. Taxes and shit blowing up.
And bad acting.
There's only two things, and it's taxes, shit blowing up, and bad acting. You want to get into a couple of explosions in film?
Let's do it.
All right. Guinness World Records, biggest explosion in a movie. Spectre, the James Bond film. Much more recent than I would have expected.
Expected.
Spectre.
Yeah.
This explosion contained the equivalent of 68.47 tons worth of TNT.
I thought you were going to say the equivalent of 12 sorcerers. It takes another movie. It uses that metric. 68,000?
68.47 tons worth of TNT, which is still how they measure how big an explosion is. A nuclear bomb is measured against how much it is bigger than a stick of dynamite.
Yeah. What?
That's the standard. It's like England measuring things in corn husks. It's just
8 England is 400 TNTs long.
So I googled biggest explosion ever in a film,
Sure.
and the first thing that came up, the main article was Michael Bay calls Spectre's biggest explosion in film history record bullshit. Michael Bay is so mad about it.
It's bullshit.
He literally said, bullshit, it's ours. For Pearl Harbor. He said Pearl Harbor had a bigger one.
Oh boy.
I also looked up what movie has the most explosions to see if I could get to that. And I found an IMDb list of them that somebody had compiled.
Wow.
So this is non-official, but
Non-sanctioned.
according to this list, Michael Bay's own Transformers Revenge of the Fallen has the most explosions of any film. Shocking.
Yeah.
I will say, I happened to look, and this list was compiled by a user who goes by the username Transformers Are Awesome. So they may be biased.
May even be Michael Bay himself,
Yeah,
quite frankly. Yeah. Just got a hunch. Yeah, that's
he started with I am awesome, and he was like, no, too obvious. Michael Bay is awesome. No.
I am Michael Bay and I am awesome.
Too long.
Even worse.
It's taken already. I am Michael Bay and I am awesome 69. No. So yeah, according to Transformers Are Awesome.
Yeah, that's a questionable source, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've never seen it, so I don't know how many explosions are in it.
I ain't never gonna see it.
No, I don't know who the Fallen are, and I don't know why they're seeking revenge. I don't know if I'm supposed to be rooting for them to get revenge or not.
Frankly, it sounds like just an excuse for more explosions.
Yeah.
A vehicle for explosions.
Oh, a vehicle that turns into explosions.
Oh. It's just Transformers, just a bomb. It just drives up and explodes.
Yeah, which is technically every vehicle. Could be that.
Yeah.
So, there you have it. That's explosions in the world. And I don't have anything else to say about it.
That's about all I got.
Yeah. Okay. So, we all learned a lot. And we're going to go to a break by saying we'll be right back. And we're back. Kaboom. Kaboom.
We're exploding back with segment 3.
Yeah. Should the "We'll be right back" screen explode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
And of course, here on segment 3, we must ask the question:
Why?
Why explosions? It would be impossible to ask why not. There is no why not. But why?
The concept of why not wouldn't exist without an explosion.
Yeah. And, I mean, somewhere, King BB happens.
Mm-hmm.
Is there reverse King BB? Where there's reverse metaphiles who podcast, and they are asking why not explosions because they don't have them there.
Oh. And their whole podcast is about cutting out all the bullshit and only talking about something as plainly as possible.
Yeah. They start, their segment 1 is why not a topic. And then they go into what the thing will be like in the future in segment 2. / what word you want to turn it into. And then in segment 3, they talk about, or they don't talk, they listen to other people say about the topic and other people, other than the people who are saying it.
And it's funny.
It's so funny. It's
little self-deprecating humor for you.
yeah,
Just, you know.
sure. Because it's funny because we don't think it's true.
That's right.
Yep.
And if you don't think it's true, I hope you fucking explode.
And they would say that if you do think it's true, we hope you implode.
Ooh.
Because that's what they have there, is implosion.
Yeah.
If you put a can of beans in the fire there, it just goes...
Or... I don't know. I can't. I don't have the brain power to think about a completely opposite universe right now. Yeah, no.
Okay. Well, let's come back to this, our own universe, and discuss why explosion. And, like, why explosion is impossible to... Why explosion? Because everything is an explosion. But why do we like an explosion, I think is the real question. Why do we like watching a movie? Maybe it's Spectre, maybe it's Transformers, and stuff goes...
You're saying we like bad acting?
You go...
Right. Yeah, well... It's really bizarre to think about the time before explosions How about this? Did explosions happen naturally before they were engineered through gunpowder? You know, they must have.
A volcanic eruption counts as an explosion.
There you go. There must have been other mechanical types of explosions perhaps as well.
Certainly. Electricity also can cause explosions, so like a bolt of lightning hitting a tree.
Basically an explosion.
Yeah. And I think the answer to my own question, not to just immediately do that, is sort of similar to...
Immediately going to do this?
I'm going to do it. You're immediately going to do it. That's not what Metaphiles does. But we'd be dancing around it otherwise. Sure. Much like drums are our way to control time, explosions are us having tamed the fire of the gods. Yeah. You say, I take your volcano, I take your lightning bolt, I put it in a black metal ball and put a candle wick out of it.
Or even in a little tiny paper bag that you throw and snap and pop.
Yeah, and now I'm God.
Ooh. Right up to nuclear explosions. Would what I mean, the power of God to even destroy all of humanity, not unlike the flood, the great flood.
Yeah. I need to build an ark, and I need 2 Roman candles on it, and I need 2 of those things that make it like a snake. I need 2 sparklers on it. I need 2 of every kind. And blow that fucking ark sky high, baby.
All right, we got all the animals on here? Okay. You got a ladder?
No animals.
Oh, okay. Well, they just drown otherwise. Would you rather drown or get exploded on the ark? Noah's Ark.
Most animals can swim.
Okay. What if Noah just said that? Most animals can swim. Do we have to build it this big?
Because listen, if we don't, we could have a killer rec room over here. Instead, we're just putting like otters in that. Otters gonna be fine. I'm talking like 60-inch flat screen here.
I'll swim. I mean, you're right. It's just the amount of power that you can feel when you light a sparkler bomb. Mm-hmm. When you throw a grenade, blow up a bunch of Nazis.
Yeah.
When you put a firecracker in a old man's wheelchair and run away. You never think about it again because you have no conscience. Stuff like that, you feel like God.
Now, of course, as we slowly build, as the fuse slowly... Yeah. Towards that moment. Yeah, also, of course, Spectre, our old friend James Bond, making another appearance.
The Mission Impossible. Every movie starts out with a...
You're right. I'm sorry. I do know the difference between those 2 theme songs. I'm just so used to hearing you start to do the James Bond theme on this show that my brain immediately went there.
Well, I'm branching out.
Yeah.
Another great movie explosion. Remember when he took the piece of gum and it was green and pink or green and red?
Yes.
And then he put it on the fish tank?
Yes.
And he was like talking to the guy and was like, and the guy was like, and then all the fish exploded and came out, and he ran away from the running water because I guess he couldn't have just gotten wet and gotten up afterwards.
Well, you don't want to be doing spy stuff with soggy socks.
That's right. You don't got time to change your socks out.
You don't want to be hanging from that rope with all those lasers around you, and your shoe is going.
You're so right. And it drips on the floor, and then the whole heist is fucked.
The whole thing is, and your guy on the side who's doing the vibes is like, I didn't have a playlist for this. I thought things were gonna go well, so I didn't make a We Blew It playlist. But give me a second.
Ruin the vibes.
Hang on.
Ruin the vibes with soggy socks. Soggy socks ruin vibes. Nothing else ruins a vibe more than wet socks.
True.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Maybe Mitt Romney, I guess. He ruins vibes more.
But imagine Mitt Romney having soggy socks. That would not be best or next best.
So we got this. Let me get this straight. We got this motherfucker driving around with a dog in a cage on top of his roof with soggy socks.
Yeah.
Eating hot dogs.
Uh-huh. And you know who's ever in charge of the vibes in that car is not doing a good job.
What you can't. I mean, that's what are you gonna do? There's no vibes. There's no vibes.
There's no vibes. And I'd like to envision a moment where
Just gotta be depressed.
the dog drops a bomb through the moonroof,
Mm-hmm.
hops off just in time. Yeah. Dog pulls off one of those fake
It's Tom Cruise.
faces, Tom Cruise. Who is
There we go. The dog is Tom Cruise.
the dog is Tom Cruise, who is as short as a dog. Sorry.
Sorry, Tom. That's just the funniest joke. It's a dog, and he pulls off the Mission Impossible mask. You're like, it's Tom Cruise, but wait, he's a dog. He's not gonna pull off like a dog suit. He's just
No, and he looks straight to the camera and he goes, woof. Credits.
wow.
Yeah. But all of that to say
Say what?
That as the fuse burns ever closer
Uh-huh.
to the moment where we must either or not
Or the what was it? That was the middle.
purgatory.
Yeah. What was that topic?
That was parades,
Oh yeah.
where we ultimately decided we don't care about parades.
Does it go to the Pinewood Lanes up in heaven? Does it go to the trap drawer? Or does it go to the parade?
Parade purgatory.
Parade purgatory.
Yeah. One thing about explosions, which whatever you said that made me say that the first time, you cannot have an explosion without it being a very loud noise, and I don't like those.
Sure.
Explosions, of course, also many deaths. Is there, and like you can't argue with the explosion because it's just a naturally occurring thing. Again, none of this is
Yeah.
without one.
Yeah.
But is there a good explosion? Are they used to they're used for military tactic and stuff, but I don't necessarily want to go ahead and say that's good. I'm sure there's times where it got people out of a jam, but
Right.
that's like a topic that I can't even scratch the surface of. But do they use explosion to like clear debris to save people from situations that were caused by an earlier explosion?
They can use an explosion to put out an oil fire at an oil rig.
Literally fighting fire with fire.
Mm-hmm. That's a good explosion.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, not if you're Daniel Plainview, probably. I guess still probably good because they're wasting a lot of your product.
mm-hmm. Which I get the feeling, having watched that movie, that was mostly what he cared about, really.
You know, yeah, he was a little bit miserly, that fella. He should have been visited by 3 ghosts.
Didn't have a great attitude.
No, really kind of
Generally,
an unpleasant guy.
Not a great
Not
attitude.
good for the vibes.
Yeah, there will be no vibes.
There will be no vibes. yeah.
There will be no vibes.
I mean, imagine Daniel Plainview on vacation. What's that? Is he dressed like you, listening to some chill wave, sipping something out of a coconut? I don't think so. Sipping a milkshake out of a coconut, somebody else's.
Yeah, Daniel Plainview on vacation.
Sitting on a beach, wearing shades. I don't see it.
And he said in not so many words that he doesn't quite like people very much, so Yeah.
They should do There Will Be Blood 2, and it's him being visited by 3 ghosts who teach him the error of his ways.
There will be Yuletide.
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead and buy me that turkey. The one as big as you.
Maybe this is Daniel Plainview, actually.
Yeah, he probably did not like taxes.
Yeah, he said,
You do the voice.
go ahead and get me the turkey. The exploding turkey.
The one as big as
Eli,
you.
the one as big as you.
You there, boy. What day is it? Explosions are helpful in coal mining, but coal mining is bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I'm hinting at and getting at here is I don't like explosions. I don't like them. They're bad. They're a only destructive force almost always.
But none of us would be here without the biggest explosion that ever happened.
Yeah, it's like I can't argue with them. They are...
Yeah.
I don't want to be living in the imploding universe.
Bizarre. Who knows what that's like? Yeah, I don't want to either.
Because there, the podcast is that they are just listening to other people talk, and I like talking on the podcast.
The podcast that gets talked to.
The podcast you talk to. Now, if we ever did a call-in show, it'd be the podcast that you talk to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe idea for the future.
Maybe. And people call in and tell us about the history of call-in shows and why call-in shows.
We're like, yeah,
Okay. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to talk to Jay right now. Hold on. I don't know what to do with the explosion. I think it gets to be in heaven in the Pinewood Lanes because without it there is nothing. But I don't like them.
Well, I think the fundamental thing about explosions is power and energy. It's a tremendous amount of energy from a small amount of inert matter. You can implode buildings so that you can build a new building.
But implosion is not explosion. That's a separate episode.
You use explosions to implode a building, though.
That's true.
You know, so the point with explosions is just a tremendous amount of power being exercised towards an end goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would say that that's been the end goal has been served by explosions has been mostly negative, mostly deaths. Yeah.
Yeah. More deaths even than the helicopter.
Mm-hmm. Easily. The helicopter was merely a messenger of the explosion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Harbinger.
In fact, almost all of the deaths that helicopter caused, actually explosion gets to take credit for.
More or less, yeah. Yeah.
But also all of the lives it created.
Yeah.
From King BB.
King BB. So funny. King BB.
So, it's like you can't not send it up because there's no Pinewood without it. There's no bowling without explosion. There's nothing.
Where's the point of demarcation to where it becomes non-explosion? How about that?
A fart?
There's been good actors that have farted.
That's true. But were they hissed off stage because of it?
Yeah, apparently the point of demarcation is this.
Right.
Apparently.
Yeah.
This is a nebulous one. Very nebulous, you know?
Yeah.
Because, of course, I mean...
It's almost as though it is such a broad topic that our opinions about it somehow don't matter. But that can't be.
That's bullshit.
That's fucking ridiculous. I don't...
Fuck you. Well, so the sun is a fission reactor.
Yeah, the sun's a big bomb that's going to go off one day.
Well, it's going off every second. It's literally a constant explosion. So, and there would be nothing on Earth, disregarding the Big Bang completely if it wasn't for the sun. There'd be no energy on this rock at all.
Yeah. So we gotta send it up.
Furthermore, it's responsible for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to send it up because nothing would exist without the Big Bang, without the sun, without Apocalypse Now, with that intro with the helicopters and the explosion in the background. You know?
So, okay. I think what's happened is the Files verse is ever expanding. And we have realized that there are some things that are larger even than the Pinewood Lanes.
You okay? Whoa. Forces of nature, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And we must place explosions, things that explode, above the realm even that we previously thought was the highest realm possible.
The King BB realm.
The King BB realm.
Yeah. Okay.
We here now, on this episode, there was a King BB on our scope, on our scale, and now the King BB realm exists and must exist. And explosions must be there, because there is one that is the very reason. There are a couple that are the very reason for this podcast to even exist.
The reason that this guy pays taxes.
Yes. The reason that Kyle Tax Issues, I believe was his name, who sometimes is Scottish and sometimes sounds kind of like Daniel Plainview. He could not be here without the explosion.
Wow. Okay. That's going to be a rare place for a topic to go to, but I think we got some topics coming up that could fit into that.
Yeah. And here on episode 22, a new realm. A new plane of existence. A new Daniel plane of existence.
Oh. Exciting stuff.
Yeah. And just to praise explosions as being the first entry, I will say that the sun, which is a explosion at all times,
right now,
is the quickest way to remedy yourself of a soggy sock. So thank you, explosions. We thank you.
Everything we've said, it all comes down to your socks are wet, put them in the sun. Thank you, explosions. Also, this guy, Baboom.
Still hasn't happened to us. I think had we acted more rashly, there would have been a chance of it. I think we avoided our fate. And if by some chance we do happen to spontaneously combust at the end of this episode, with mere seconds left, I feel confident that the King BB realm will bring our particles back together in time for next week.
I hope so, man. And so does everybody that's out there watching us.
Absolutely. So, this is the part of the sign-off that I say.
This is a part of the sign-off that I explode.
Hey, this is Zach Caffrey.
This is Jason Ford.
And we're the hosts of Metaphiles, the podcast that you just finished watching and technically are still watching. And while you're here, if you could, just go ahead and like this episode, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment if you're so inclined. Maybe the comment could be about, and then it'll say whatever the topic was that week. So this, say that.
Metaphiles.